I guess the predominantly Baltimore County, but when I'm working by referral, I tell you, like you give me a point where I live, where I'm in White Marsh Perry Hall area, I go an hour out. I just
Oh,
can't go
okay.
an hour. I can't go an hour east. I'll be in the bay. But anyway, we go about an hour out. And the beautiful thing about this though is if I have something that's further away, whether it's in Maryland or outside of Maryland on the West Coast, in that Buffini network, it's a network of people that 1 out of every 8 houses that's sold in the United States is sold from somebody in that network. So I have a network of
Wow.
real people at the country I can lean into, and I get 10, 12 calls a year from people that either moving in state or out of state from the Buffini network that need help.
Welcome to the Maryland Real Estate Influencers Podcast, where we explore the ins and outs of the local real estate market. Join us as we chat with industry experts, uncovering tips, trends, and strategies to help you navigate Maryland's real estate landscape. Get ready to elevate your real estate game. Let's dive in. Hey, Rob, thank you so very much for being with me today on the podcast. I am so grateful that you're making the time to share some encouragement in this very crazy 2023 first 6 months in the business. Not your first 6 months in the business, first 6 months in 2023. So thank you and welcome to be on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Jen.
Absolutely. So what I'd like to talk about is, to start off, could you tell me a little bit about why you got into the real estate business?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story. I try to be short with it. So I was working at T-Bird Price downtown, and I was doing that, and then I had 2 or 3 other part-time jobs. And what happened was I was in the Federal Hill area, and I was watching. I had a newspaper business at the same time, and I was watching the transformation of Federal Hill take place. I was watching the formstone come down, new brick go up, new windows in the windows, new doors, and I was just watching this whole transformation. I'd see these realtor signs go up. So my wife got pregnant with her second job, and I was like, you know what? I want you to stay home and be the mother of children, and be a stay-at-home mom, and I'll go get another job. So what I did is I got into real estate. I got my real estate license, and that was in 2000. I got my real estate in 2001, June of 2001. And so that's why I got into business. And I started out as a part-time, but as far as I'm concerned, you can't do this business part-time.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Wonderful. Now, I know that from my personal experience that you have written a book.
Yes.
And I am halfway through that book right now and actually am enjoying it. Would you like to tell our listeners a little bit about your book?
Yeah, sure. So the title book is Better Than You Think. And then the subtitle is Developing Awareness to Live a More Fulfilling Life. And so we're all in a bit, whether it's real estate, lending, or whatever business we're in, maybe it's a 9 to 5 job, and we're in that rat race, and we don't take the time to reflect on our story, on our story, right? And everybody has a story, and everybody should be or could be willing to share that story. And if they're willing to share that story, there's going to be nuggets in your story, in my story, and anybody's story that's going to impact another person. And the problem is some people think their story is too small and not good enough to impact. And that's not the case at all. So what I did in the book is I just shared a lot of stories, personal stories of myself, my kids, my family, and the lessons that I learned from them, and how you could be inspired by them, and hope is that it resonates with you. And you said that earlier on the call, you and I were talking, you said something resonated with you and it made you think. And that's the goal. It's the goal to make the reader think about their own life and how good it's been and how to develop awareness to be fulfilled in that moment. And at the end of the day, when you look at your life, either on a story wall, a journey wall, or in writing, and you look at all the experiences you've had and all the lessons you've learned, wins, losses, and all the people that have helped you, you'll look at it and it's like, holy cow, my life, the idea for me is my life is better than I thought it was. So it's pretty cool.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Thank you for asking, by the way.
Oh,
Thank you.
absolutely. It was extremely insightful and I'm enjoying it. And I can't wait to finish the rest of it. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you also have a podcast, and I'd love for you to share some information about your podcast as well.
Yeah, so that was another insightful thing. So the book was spiritually motivated, and so is the podcast. And so the title of the podcast is called Chiseled. because we're all work in progress. And so a lot of times when I tell people I got a podcast called Chisel, they're like, oh, the muscles and all that. And I'm like, no, it's about you, me, and everybody that we know. We're constantly a work in progress. And the finished product is not there. And it's probably never going to be there until the day you go 6 feet under. And so it's about people sharing stories on how they've been chiseled and how they've seen the evolution of themselves through all the lessons and experiences they've had. It's been some really cool stories people shared of whether it's a redemptive story. Well, I got 2 or 3 podcasts just on finances, right?
Oh, wow.
That's a cool thing. Forgiveness. There's just a plethora of stories there. We've been doing about almost 2.5 years now, and it's just it's a fun thing to do for me to hear other people's stories. And the cool thing for me is I felt like initially that I was a conduit for these people's stories to share, and along the way, I'm getting chiseled. I'm getting better. So it's
that
cool.
Iron sharpening iron is priceless.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's there, absolutely. So why don't you tell us, not only me, because I do know, but also the listeners, about your business, the team that you have, and the production that you've had over the last, and I'd like to focus, if it's okay, not to discredit what you've done over your 20 some odd year career, but I'd really like to focus on the last 12 months, because that's where most of the realtors that I've come in contact with are having difficulty. So I'd like to shine a light on what you've done specifically and your team over the last 12 months.
Yeah. So in all of 22, we did about 90 deals, but the last 12 months, we probably, and you may have the numbers up more than I know better than me, but we're probably in the 80 range, somewhere in that. We're down a little bit. And we've been averaging 110, 100 deals a year for the last, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it is. But last year, for the year, we did, I think, almost 90, and the last 12 months is probably close to 80. We're at about 50 this year so far between pending and sold. And so that's the 7 months or 6 months this year. And you go into the 6 months last year. So it's probably close to 80 or 90, somewhere in there.
That is wonderful. And what that business, is that coming from referrals? Is that coming from lead gen? Is that coming from friends and family or coworkers that you're running into? Where is that business coming from?
So it's my first year in the business, I decided to get coached, and I get coached by Buffini and Company. You may be familiar with them. And he preaches doing business by referral. So I will tell you, I do business by referral. And yes, you have to lead gen to your database, to your friends and family, and your holiday mailing list, if you will. So you have to have this group of people, current clients, past clients, your holiday mailing list, business to business people, and then new people you meet along the way. So these are all people that I build relationships with, and I put them into my database, and I stay in touch with them.
I love that. And if I had to ask, do you have a primary area in the state of Maryland that you prefer to work in, or that you just seem to work in a lot?
Well, I guess the predominantly Baltimore County, but when I'm working by referral, I tell you, like, you give me a point where I live, where I'm in White Marsh Perry Hall area, I go an hour out. I just can't go an hour. I can't go an hour east. I'll be in the Bay. But anyway, we go about an hour out. And the beautiful thing about this, though, is if I have something that's further away, whether it's in Maryland or outside of Maryland on the West Coast, in that Buffini network, it's a network of people that 1 out of every 8 houses that's sold in the United States is sold from somebody in that network. So I have a network of real people at the country I can lean into, and I get 10, 12 calls a year from people that either moving in state or out of state from the Buffini network that need help.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I didn't realize it was that many, 1 out of 8.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Great. So I'd also like to talk to you about your daily success plan. So when you wake up in the morning, whether it is Monday through Friday, or do you have like a certain regime that you do every single day, or is it things that you get done every single week? And how does that look with you and or your team?
Yeah, this might sound a little overwhelming to people, but I'm pretty regimented Monday through Friday, from say 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. So what happens is I get up at 5 o'clock, and the first thing I do is I come into this home office. I got a little prayer chair over here. I read scripture, I meditate, I have a gratitude journal, and then I have a regular journal. do all that. And then once I finish that, I come over to this chair that I'm sitting right now talking to you. I look at my calendar for the day, which I've already looked at the night before, but I actually look at it and I write everything down in one of those, those little, call it mini Bibles, if you will, but it's a day timer. And so I write everything out because when you're writing it out, it's imprinted on your mind. And so I take a look at that. And then I write 8 notes every single day. Finish that, go downstairs. I drink my shake unless I'm fasting. I'll drink my little protein shake, if you will. And then I work out. I work out for about 45, 50 minutes. And then I'm out the door. And the beauty of that is by 8 o'clock every morning, the only thing I haven't done is made my calls towards the business. I might have appointments and listings and showings and all that, and have fires to put out, but that's it. And so when you walk out the door at 8 o'clock and all you got to do is make your calls, you're feeling pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. And that is 5 days a week you do that?
Yeah. Now look, there's some days every day I'm writing a note. So there's some days I get up, I'm like, oh gosh, I just don't feel like working out, or I'm sore, or whatever. And there, for what, like I might have a networking meeting like every other Friday. I meet these 2 guys, either virtually or in person, and we have a mastermind. I've been doing it for 12 years now, and we meet. We meet at 7. It used to be 6:30. Meet at 7 a.m. every other Friday. So there'll be some Fridays where I just don't feel like getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do my workout and regular routine. So I might skip the workout.
Gotcha. Oh, that is very interesting. I love the daily success plan. It is
Thank you.
changed everything. So apparently time management is very important in your day. And is there anything else that you're making sure that you put into your day outside of your morning routine?
Well, yeah. So I mean, one of the, I guess, disciplines or priorities is the put in like the family stuff into my calendar. Now, some people might do it at the beginning of the year for the whole year. If you don't know, well, maybe the beginning of every month, I know some stuff I got going on. So like I'll put that stuff gets plugged in.
Right.
And you try to work around that. And I can't sit there and say I've been an absolute, it's been successful my whole 22 years in this business. But I try to stay true to that. I do.
Oh, good. I love seeing that. That's so very important. What are the trends that you're seeing in today's marketplace?
Well, there's a negative trend of attitude.
That is so true. That's why you're going to
Yeah, and that shouldn't be the case. I mean, look, it's definitely slower, right? But when it's slower, there's 2 opportunities there. One, to dig into your relationships at a deeper level, right? And focus on you, get you better. Like they say, if you want more, you got to be more. If you want better, you got to be better. And so instead, I know we have to have food with our meals, so we have to do sales. I know that, but so take the time to dig into the relationships. And as long as you stay true to the activities, I'm talking about the calls, the notes, and I stop by and see people. They're called Popeyes in Brian Buffini's world. And, I do like 75 to 100 a month. Now sometimes I don't do all of them. I have some people help me, but it's all about just stay true to the activities. And we do parties. We do 6, 7 parties a year. If you stay true to the activities, and you track them, you stay true to it, the results are going to come. They're going to come. It's just a matter. You just don't know exactly when, but they will come. So I feel good about that.
I love that. That is so powerful. Are there any new technologies that you're utilizing at this time, as such as AI or any of the automatic systems that AI is implementing into the new programs in how to take a loan from, or how to take a transaction from when it is under contract until close? Are you utilizing any of those systems, or do you prefer the individual to handle it?
Nah, I haven't really used that. I mean, I use BombBomb, do some video stuff like that, but I got a really unique tool that's kind of fallen by the wayside that people should get a better handle on using, and it's called a phone, right? and so, people just don't want to make phone calls. Now, we have the younger generation, millennials or Gen Y, whatever it is, they like to text.
Yes.
And there's nothing better than voice-to-voice communication. Yeah, texting's okay, and there's a need and a time and a place for texting, but this really cool tool called a phone will help you communicate, at a deeper level with people. And
yes.
so if there's a technology I think people should use, it's this thing.
I couldn't agree with you more. I know in my own daily success plan, I have a 12-week regime that I focus on, and it's phone calls for
Yeah,
12 weeks. And a lot of people stop after 5 or 6, and they don't like not getting the responses. But my thing is, I think the money is in the follow-up, and something happens right around that 10 to 12 when people see that you're different and that you're not going to be easily moved aside and that you're committed to doing this. I think that makes a big difference in people's minds.
makes a huge difference. Huge.
Huge when they see that you're different and that you're just making the phone call and that
Yeah,
you're following up. Because they know that you're going to be following up with their clients then too. So I can
yeah,
appreciate that.
cool.
So what kind of goals do you have for yourself and or your team for the next 6 months, or even maybe as in, shall we say, 2024 as well?
You mean real estate goals or just
Yeah.
personal?
Oh,
There's some real estate.
I'm open
Yeah,
to
so
all.
well, yeah. So I mean, from a real estate perspective, like I want to hire another full-time agent, and I'm looking to recruit a full-time agent for sure, one or two. That's for sure. So then the other thing is, so it's here we are, we're middle of July right now, and so by the end of the year, it would be great to knock out another 50 deals. Love to do that's the goal for the end of the year. Let's get 50 more deals this year. 2024, God willing, I'd love to, for the team to bang out 150 deals if that's possible. It is, I shouldn't even say if, it is possible if everybody does what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the big goal there. And then for me personally, it's like take some more time away from the business if I have the right horses in the horses in the barn, so to speak.
Yeah.
Then I can give some more business out. But I got to get it myself. I still have to lead gen myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd like to spend more time working on the business and less time in the business.
I love that. Now, is there one secret that you think that is your, if you will, your secret sauce that you're willing to share? Obviously, your phone is the big one. But is there one secret that has made you successful today in this industry that you think? And I mean, I think I could answer that for you. I think that would be your commitment to your clients and that follow up. But I don't want to speak for you. What do you think that
Yeah,
you're?
I mean, some of it's intrinsic, right? Which is your drive, your internal, your heart, with your passion. What's the why behind why you do what you do, right?
Mhm.
That's part of it. There's everybody might have their secret sauce. I mean, in this whole real estate business, people are like, oh, I do this way. I can't share that with anybody, right? I mean, that's a scarcity mentality. Like, so for instance, I when I'm on a listing appointment, I have a formula that I've been using since 2003 maybe,
Oh, well.
and it's just something I came up with myself, and it's not hard. It's logic, and I've given it away, and I've talked to and trained hundreds and hundreds of realtors about it, and it just takes a little bit of work. And when I know people have their iPads and they go to a listing appointment, it's all the technology and hey, look this, this little neat thing and all that. But I'm a blue collar guy in a white collar business, right? And so when I get in front of whether it's a husband and wife or a client, let's just say, and they see the work that you put in, they appreciate that. And if when they see it, like I got papers flying everywhere, right? And they're like, "Holy cow, that's a lot of work." And I'm like, "That's what you're going to get from me." And now it would take too long to go through the whole process of what it looks like, but I'd be happy to share with any of your listeners or any realtors. Happy to share what that formula looks like. Happy to.
Thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate that. I know we're getting close to the bottom of the hour or bottom of the half hour. I do have a couple items that if somebody wants to get a hold of you, would you like them to contact me and then for me to contact you, or are you open to giving out your contact information on here?
I'm totally fine. I mean, if they contact you and you want to get hold of me, great. But I'm happy to give you my stuff. It's fine. It's
Okay,
easy.
go ahead.
So if you want to reach me via email, it's very easy. It's rob@talktorob.com. And it's all letters. rob@talktorob.com. And then phone number is 410-262-7396. And then you can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all those social media outlets.
I love that. Is there any question that I should have asked you today that I haven't?
No, I mean nothing I think of. What's my favorite movie or whatever? And that movie, my favorite movie, Shawshank Redemption, by the way.
Oh, there you go. Very good
Yeah,
one.
love that
Very
movie.
good one. Well, I want to thank you so much for being with us today and sharing your insight into what you do and sharing your daily success plan with these realtors that may be having a challenging time during this market. And realtors, if you are interested in possibly joining Rob's team or finding out Rob's listing information that he's willing to share with you, please use the information provided and reach out to him directly. And thank you so very much for coming here and chatting with me today and sharing. And I wish you tremendous success in the rest of 2023.
Thank you so much, Jen. Thank you for having me, and I wish you all the success in the world and all the luck to you that there is out there. So,
thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
all right, you take care, Jen.
All right, bye-bye. Thank you for joining the Maryland Real Estate Influencers podcast. We'd like to ask you 2 favors. Number 1, forward this podcast to 3 of your favorite realtor friends. They'll thank you for it, and I'll thank you for it too. Number 2, we'd love reviews. It helps get the word out.